Hey there, so today we have another review. This is a beer courtesy of Pariah. Thank you so much for sending this one out. What do we have over here? This is I've Got an Idea 3. I've got an idea 3. Sorry, I'm still trying to work on this. it's like, you know, trying to get like comfortable spot to like be talking into the mic and all that good stuff. So, cool label. Reminds me a little bit actually of the Hoppager kind of labels. Like, what is it like? Looks like sort of just a little bit abstract and. I don't know. Yeah, there you go. That's a painting. Anyway, this is a hazy IPA. Well, let's dig into the beer first and see the first impressions, and then I like digging into the sort of like what the label actually says about the beer. This, by the way, I got about last week, but I haven't had a chance to review. Oh, interesting. All right, bro. No can date, but I mean, obviously they sent it fresh, but for future kind of like other guests that like have beer that like gets shipped to them, or like people that pick up beer, ideally. Well, I don't know. if the beer, I think they do small distribution, but if this is brewery only, then ideally it's not too bad. But I guess some people do care if there's a can date. But I mean, I know for a fact they send it fresh, obviously, because they sent it to me directly. But whether you traded it with somebody, or it goes into a store, or you bought it but then put it in your fridge and don't know when you bought it, but I don't know. Who knows? The beer's actually not that like good looking. Has a little bit of this kind of like I mean, then again, it got shipped here. How much heat could have taken? It could have taken some heat. So shipping beer in summer in the Florida, I do not have much faith in that. Because again, how long did it sit on like a USPS truck or a FedEx truck, or who knows the storage and this and that. The beer has like a really nice kind of medium gold color, but it seems like there's a little bit of brownish hue to it. Also, the head is quite large bubbled. I don't know if you guys can't. Yeah, you already get some lacing, but you could just already tell when you pour some beer sometimes. Like, it's not a tight head. Like, there's large bubbles in it. Like, it's a very rocky head already, which is not the best sign. I've learned that to be a sign of oxidation visually, but you can't tell until you smell and taste anything, right? So what's the point of the visual, right? Oh, see, that smells great. Has a little bit of this kind of like, I mean, it's quite familiar. It's it's a little bit chalky tropical fruit. That's a weird kind of descriptor because like the chalkiness. See, like you shouldn't be able to smell the chalkiness. Ideally, the chalkiness is a water profile thing, and you know what? It's probably a combination of what I've smelled before that has a certain flavor profile, but then like the chalkiness sort of is associated with that too. Because again, there's no way in water profile you can actually smell until you taste it. Yes, for sure. Like the fact they threw a bunch of calcium chloride in there, like I can't smell that. That's just not a thing. Like, so what I get is I think it's more of that kind of like vanilla-y kind of sweetness. Almost smells a little bit like peaches and cream, peaches and vanilla ice cream, stone fruit and vanilla ice cream. A little bit of like sweet Greek yogurt, vanilla yogurt. There's a little bit of the papaya in there, a little bit of ripeness, good amount of tropical fruit. Stone fruit is in there as well. So yeah, I'm calling all the peaches, nectarines, definitely tons of papaya, a little bit of mango in there, a little bit of apricot. Ooh, okay. Huh. All right, so Pariah has actually replied to some of my videos. So I'm actually very curious about what they have to say about it here. Aromatically smells great, but I've definitely had better hazy IPAs from them. The beer is a little bit hollow in the middle for some reason. Let's try this again. So the palate follows a little bit on the nose. Big, rich, kind of like tropical fruits and stone fruit, nectarine, apricot, a lot of papaya. And then the middle's a little hollow. Like, I generally get a little bit of fluffiness from their beers. And then the beer is bitter. Wow, like bitterness smacks in like halfway through the palate and just like rides. Like, I'm very surprised how bitter this beer is for a hazy IPA. And it's honestly really accentuated by the fact that, again, the beer feels a little hollow. As in, like, I don't know if that makes any sense to you. Like, what's a good analogy? Imagine you bit into a jelly-filled donut and there's nothing in there other than air. There's no jelly. Right? It just makes like the experience like whoa, like right? Like it's almost like a burger meant to be a double, triple cheeseburger, and you just gave a single patty with no cheese, right? Like you just bite into it's just all bread, right? Like there's things where there's sensation where you bite into something where there's a lacking, like again hollow, like it's like you're biting into something that's empty, right? I find that with that beer sometimes where usually it's the malt that sort of like dominates the mid palate, right? Like depending on what kind of beer you're talking about and IPAs and blah blah. The impression usually is like the hops, and then like you sort of let the body of the beer sort of ride the mid palate onto more hop flavor and bitterness and blah 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 towards the back end. Seems like a little lacking kind of malt. Like there's just like it's a little bit empty. And then the bitterness comes in. As you drink it more, the bitterness sort of acclimates to the palate. But let's see what they have to say about this beer. So 6.5%. They actually like it pretty warm, 50 to 55 degrees. They also recommend the IPA Spiegelad glass, which I do have, so I didn't use that, unfortunately. Part 3, exploratory IPA series. Okay. So they used HBC 586 over their Colors malt bill. So they're the malt bill for a beer called Colors. HBC 586 has notes of mango, guava, lychee, citrus. I definitely would throw papaya in there. Papaya is one of the most dominant kind of hop flavors I get in here. Let's see. Let's try again. Wow, you're right. On the nose, it actually it's a little bit of like a chameleon. Like I got some of that kind of like a lychee and stuff, other stuff going on. Yeah. Pariah, you can post the comments below. I'm going to suspect that this is not a great, like the ideal example of the beer. This is definitely not like, hey, this sat on a warm shelf for like 4 months and, this is absolute garbage. But I don't think this is at peak, treatment of the beer. Would oxidate? Yeah, oxidation would affect the malt. Like, it as in not actually like, the malt shouldn't really change it, but like the perception of the beer just is vastly changed when the hops oxidize, and your experience of beer, like it literally will completely change a beer. Like great examples of the Heady Topper, like that I had like a few weeks ago in New York. It just doesn't taste like Heady Topper no more, right? Like it just when the hops break down, the whole complete package breaks down, right? It's like what's good? you guys love analogies. I guess I love analogies. I keep trying to find analogies for you guys, but it's hard. Like, sure. Here's an analogy. We're back to burgers. Let's say you just have like a burger, but it's piled with lettuce, tomato, pickle, onions, and all that stuff. Imagine all those vegetables were just soggy and wet, right? Like I don't know. Like it's basically like once you change something of something's complex that has a lot of components, just like beer or a burger, or like XYZ, you change something about it, and it completely changes the entire experience of everything, right? Like here, the hops might oxidize, but then it changes the perception of the bitterness, and it changes the perception of the aromatics, and where you find the malts, and the complete package is completely changed because But then again, maybe I'm crazy because it smells great. So like ideally like it wouldn't smell so good. I don't know. I'm honestly not a big fan of this beer. It smells good, but like it doesn't have the oomph and the richness that I actually associate with Pariah. And again, I don't think I've had a bad IPA from them. So this is a shocker for me. Rating, I'm gonna be honest. Honestly, not a huge fan. I think this would actually blend well, though. I think a big, juicy, like, fluff bomb could really get the cut from this guy. Like, this guy's, like, a little leaner. So, like, I don't know if, like, they do that on draft over there or if they... I mean, yeah, probably. Like, I like doing that at brewery sometimes where, like, if I'll find a couple of beers that really, like, work, it's fun to actually, like, mix a couple hazy IPAs together and, like, really, like, find a nice cuvee of a hazy IPA. And, like, you can sort of find things that, like, work. But... Sorry, I actually have this here just so not bump the table so that you guys don't have to listen to that. It's fine. I'm gonna give it a solid 80. Let's go with an 83. It's all right. Like it's not terrible, but it's not ideal. Like yeah. That's like a fair rating for a beer that like I'm just not. It's not really vibing with. It does smell good though. Like as I smell it more, like I get more of this kind of like rich sweetness. So it's like mango-y. Yeah, I think mango, guava, lychee, citrus. Yeah, it smells great. So I don't know. Maybe this is just how the beer is. Until next time, cheers. Maybe harsh treatment on this one, but again, I give you guys my feedback, and I always prefer that you guys know what I think about a beer versus the rating. The number's a number, but like how I get to the number is another whole is explained by that, and the explanation of where the beer is more important than just a number, right? Cheers. Later. 83.